Hello my dear bass friends and bass aficionados all around the planet. It's been a while since I posted my last video. My apologies for that. I've been covered in work, which is a good thing after the 2-year hiatus of the pandemic lockdown period. Anyway, my apologies for my poor setup here. I don't have much of a room to film at the moment. But I thought there's something which came across my mind just recently, and that is I've had to buy a new case for my electric bass guitars. And I know there's many people out there who have many questions about how do I transport my gear when I have to fly, or when I have to put it on a truck, when I'm on tour, or when I'm just simply traveling with a car or on the train or whatever. So there's always this general question, do I have to use a gig bag, or would I rather use a proper flight case? And I've just recently had the problem that I had to fly with 2 bass guitars, and so I just decided, okay, I'm gonna do the plunge and buy a new case, which is this one, which I got right here. It's the Gruv Gear Dual Bass Capsule, or Gruv Gear Kapsule Duo Bass. I think that's what it's called. Gruv Gear is a company from California, based in California, which is dedicated to solving presenting solutions for travel gear for musicians. And they came up with the idea for the capsule quite a while ago as a startup. There's quite a few YouTube videos out there already about the product, so I will not bore you with in-depth review about this. There's plenty of these reviews out there, but to my experience, these reviews leave a couple of questions open, and I'm trying to answer these questions for you guys out there who might be interested in buying one right now. So, as most people addressed in the reviews, this is a great case to transport 2 bass guitars simultaneously. Basically, they are stacked over each other, and there's a top compartment, which is a soft compartment, which has a lot of room to store additional stuff in there, and it's actually quite amazing. The outer shell is plastic, sort of hard plastic. It looks a bit like it's graphite, but I don't think so. It's just a hard shell plastic. One of the major questions I've heard, and which I was also concerned about when I bought it, is yeah, it's nice to have these 2 bass guitars stacked on each other. They are just separated by a layer of a soft material, and they are just stacked over each other, and that's fairly okay. It's protecting the bass guitars pretty well. But what about the top? Because this is just a zipper compartment. You open it, and then there's another zippered compartment on top of it where you put all your extra stuff in there: cables, gear, clothes, even smaller amplifiers fit in there. It's really amazing. Well, there is a sort of hard plastic layer between that compartment and the instrument compartment. I say plastic is probably a more durable one. And it is fairly durable, but I would not stand on it. I would not put my feet in the middle of that. It probably would not harm the bass guitars, but it's something I would not challenge you to do, or anybody else. And that probably is the biggest issue, because obviously you can't be with your case all the time, especially when you're traveling on the plane. And yes, I did fly with it, and the instruments survived, and everything was cool. But there's still this sort of element there. I'm traveling with it with an sort of unease to know that if somebody would be really violent, they could crush it. However, I think it's fairly safe to travel on the plane with this one. So I hope that answers your questions there. This layer in between the soft and the hard compartment is durable enough, I think, to have a proper protection for your bass guitars. It does not cover the equal protection you would get with an SKB I-Series flight case, which is much more durable and sturdy, which I also use for traveling. However, having said that, if I put 2 bass guitars in here. I just had on the other flight, I had a Sadowski and a Lakeland bass guitar in here, plus all the cables, plus all the pedals, and the case still was just about 19 kilo. If I do the same thing with an SKB I-Series case, I already have 16 kilo with just one bass and a couple of cables, and it doesn't fit anything more. So there you go. That is already a huge plus for the Gruv Gear Kapsule Duo. Another issue which I would like to mention is the wheels. Now, as you can see on the bottom, there are wheels which are removable, which is very good. And it says on the website, on the instructional website, that you are highly recommended. It's almost a must that you must remove the wheels when you put them in cargo. Now, this is something I did. I did remove them, and obviously that is recommended because, as you can see, I think they would break off very easily if they are being abused. However, when I was at Heathrow Airport waiting for my gear to come back from a gig that I had in Dubai just recently, I had removed the rollers, and the clever man who brought it out on the oversized baggage reclaim just dragged the whole case behind him, and it was just basically shaving off the bottom of the case, just dragging it over the floor, which as a result now this is damaged and it doesn't slide in as easy as it would before. However, it still works, but it's a bit of a drag that they sort of very easily damaged it this way. I don't know if you can see it, but it's shaved off on this side, so luckily it still works. But here's a warning for you. On one hand, yes, it's good to remove the rollers if it prevents from damaging it, but obviously because there's a handle on the other side, which again is a very good thing, but the upper handle then is an invitation to anybody who's working in airports. Just grab it this way and just drag it along the floor. So here you are. This is another risk when you're flying with this case. It'll probably end up damaging the mechanism down there over the long run. Maybe I was just unlucky for the first time, but that's what happened, unfortunately, and it may happen again. So these are the two main issues I came across with this case at the moment. Other than that, I would say it's a really, really great case for traveling. If you're not flying, I think it's the ideal solution to travel with two bass guitars and stacking so much more equipment, including all your pedals, into the top compartment. The soft compartment is absolutely freaking amazing, and it's a real game changer. So maybe in the future Gruv Gear will implement a better solution for the wheels, maybe integrated wheels like they do on the SKB cases, which you can't break off. They're just integrated in the case, and I think that's probably a better solution. Oh, there's one more issue I came across, and that is inside the case. I will show you pictures of that. You can see inside the case that despite the fact I've just used it on 2 flights at the moment and not much more, you already see the wear and tear where the pin is of the lower pin, strap pin of the bass guitars. It literally just drills into the material straight away. So it's highly recommendable that you put something in between that and the case's wall, outer wall. A sturdy cloth or one of the included pads they include with the case, or some piece of rubber material, you know. Ideally for the future of Gruv Gear, maybe as a recommendation, it would be if you integrate something like a shock protection, like the mono cases, the mono gig bags, some of them have implemented, which sort of spares out the strap pin into a rubber sort of coating. And yeah, that's highly recommendable, because otherwise it will very easily and very quickly just drill into the material, into the foam material protection around that area in the bass on the lower bottom. So that's it. That's my advice for today for the Gruv Gear Kapsule Duo bass. It's a great case with a couple of minor issues which maybe in the future will be erased. In general, I would say I did not regret buying it, and I will use it for most of my gigs in the future. And I've had quite a good and pleasant experience with it. So here you go. I wish you all the best, and goodbye.